Hello and welcome. I'm Nana, and we are somewhere in the great outer space today. I've been accused of being in outer space a lot, but really, we are traveling light speed, catching up to our favorite villain, Darth Vader. And we're going to have such a good time. He's agreed to sit still for us for just a little while, and we're going to capture him in pastel on a sheet of plain old black construction paper. Now, this is a very involved painting. There's a lot of detail. There is a lot of shapes that you may not be familiar with. I am not an engineer of different starships. My attempts are pretty good. I have practiced a lot for this, just for you. And I hope it shows. This is going to be a really fun lesson. But it is for a little bit more advanced and older artists. But that doesn't mean that you younger artists can't paint along with us. I would be thrilled to see your pictures, the photos of your paintings when you're finished. That is what I really look forward to, especially now that, I'm at home all the time. And when I get photos of artwork, it just really makes my day very special. So, now that I've told you all of this, let's get started. I'm going to tell you what you will need to make Darth Vader's, well, we're going to just call it a portrait, okay? All right. We have, as I said, a sheet of plain black construction paper. Underneath it, there is a throwaway sheet to help hold it down. And we have all of these colors. I mean, we are just going to be color crazy today. Of course, the most important thing we're going to have is our white pastel. Now, I left the wrapper on this. Don't get alarmed. It's just a plain pastel. That's what it is in white. We have a purple, and this is supposed to be an orange. It's as close to orange as I could get. And we have a royal blue, red, there's an aqua, a lime green. This is an important color. It's a pale blue, yellow, pink, and a black. Now this black may be necessary if you make a mark you don't like. Then you can take your black and just sort of put it over whatever you deem not necessary in your painting. This is a little wad of damp or moist paper towels. As you can see, I've already wiped off my fingers there. This is essential for when you go from, say, purple to pink or to white. You get that color off your fingers so you don't transfer it onto your painting. Okay, now I'm going to go slowly, and you just follow along. You can see this lesson again later on, and then you can stop it and catch up that way, and your painting will be wonderful. And as I said before, I can't wait to see it. We're going to start with our white pastel. Okay, now I found that the most difficult part of this entire portrait was Darth Vader's helmet, because that just is what makes the whole portrait. And as I said, I practiced for you a number of times so that I could get it just right. There we go. That's all there is to it. You've done the hardest part. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put part of his shoulder and his back in. Down to right there. That's his shoulder. Okay, now we're going to start with his profile. And then we're going to put the nose or breathing apparatus. I'm sure that, whoever wrote Star Wars has names for what the mask part, what the parts are. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with what they are. All I know is that it helps him to breathe. There's the nose. We're into the cheek part, I would think. And we go with that. And this kind of bumps out a little bit. He has an attitude, as you well know. He wants you to obey him all the time. All right, and then this is where the collar part will go, and we're going to go down about this far because we've got a whole lot of stuff going on down here. But we're going to finish the face part. Okay, now he has an extraordinarily large eye area. And they give him a socket to help hold that big old eye in. And I'm not going to bring it all the way up to the helmet. You may decide, well, I need to know exactly what that is, so I'm going to do this. Okay? All right, we have Darth done. And we need to go ahead and have some fun. Now, over here at the back of the helmet, you can put this little mark in to show that the helmet, there you go, the helmet has an area that goes up like this, and then you can see up underneath it some. All right, now this is where we're going to start putting on the colors. Now, if you look at this painting, you see all of these colors, and you think, well, where did she get the idea of all these different colors? Well, you think about where Darth Vader is right now. I think he's on his ship, and these are sort of reflections of all the controls that he's looking at on, on the spaceship, and the different colors of the lights. And so now this purple shows up really well in the studio lights. It may not show up well until you get your painting outside, because it is dark and it's almost the same color as the paper itself. Now, I didn't outline it. I'm just sort of, randomly putting in the lights from the control panel, like I think it might be. So, this one will show up real well. This is probably a stop and go one. All right. And then, oh, look at this. This is going to be neat. See, you can just sort of have fun with your colors. That's what painting with pastels is about. It just makes you smile, and you know that, it's all going to turn out just right. Now, I think I'm going to put in a little touch of yellow here, and maybe up here too, because there's always, like caution lights and all. All right, this is a bright, bright red. We'll be using a lot of this later on. I'm just going to fill in maybe some of these areas. Now, it just really looks kind of crazy, I know. But you just keep thinking. And when people say to you, "What in the world do you have all those colors?" you tell them that they are reflections, okay? And here's a pink. Now, who would ever think that Darth Vader would have pink on his helmet? Well, I did. Now, it's up to you. If you don't want to use pink, then you don't have to. Now, I want to show you this black. If you have done something, not that this is something I want to erase, but if you have done something that you don't like, then you can just take your black and go over it, see? And it just gets it out of the way, and you don't have to even think about it anymore. Okay, now we're going to go to the actual mask. I believe there's a bit of purple on the nose, not to say that he has a purple nose or anything. And then a tiny bit of, ooh, I like the way that picked up that purple. You can take your finger and just sort of move that around. If you want to make the eye blacker, then you certainly can make it blacker. And let's see, how about a bit of red up underneath here? I like that idea. And in fact, I'm going to carry this on back to right here. And maybe a bit here. Now see, I think this is beautiful. And we're going to have little bits of white that definitely are going to reflect. Now, I do not want you to make him look like he has chicken pox. You just do a few little white dots to reflect the light from the control panel, okay? Then I'm going to take this sort of light blue, and I'm going to put in part of his vested area, okay? Now, we're going to leave Darth, and we're going to go into the rest of the picture. Now, what I want to do, I think, is I'm going to go ahead and put the fighter jet in. Now, you're just going to have to be patient with me because I do things differently. When I look at a painting, I sort of break it down into parts, okay? Now, this looks sort of like two eyes and a nose. Well, it's actually the engine part of this subspace jet, whatever you want to call it. This is the good guys. All right, now we're going to go all the way across here, and we're going to go all the way across here. Now, don't you think that's beginning to look like a jet fighter? Okay. Like I say, I'm not an engineer, so I do the best that I can. And I know you do too. So, let's see. Believe it or not, we're going to put some pink on this. Just because it's so bright and the eye goes right to it. I think that's a good idea to do something, to paint something that way. Okay, and then we're going to put one here and one here. And we're going to just go ahead and put some little touches on the engine. Okay, now I'm going to pick up the white again because we have the beginnings of the rest of the fighter. There. This is definitely a good guy's ship and not one of the bad guys. It seems, if I remember correctly, and I'm probably wrong, you let me know, but it seems like, Darth Vader's, the bad guys, always, their planes were always black, which means, usually there was some sort of villain. Now, we've got let's see, how about some more engines right there and right there. All right, now we're going to, just for the moment, to remind us, put out some jet waves here. We're going to come back and decorate those even more, okay? My plane's a little wankajawed there, but that's all right. Darth doesn't mind. All right, then we're going to go ahead and make the rest of his uniform. Now, this is a smaller version of this great big painting. As you can see, I'm going to have to leave some of these things out because they just won't fit. I'm going to see if I can straighten up this airplane just a tiny bit. Okay. All right, now we're going to put the Death Star back here. And this is a really involved painting. I'm going to start over here on this side because it's going to look like it's coming right out of his shoulder. I remember when I gave this to my grandson, I had sort of had to explain what was going on here because it's just hard to follow this action. All right, now you can see part of his shoulder right there. That is not a mistake as far as I'm concerned. Nope, it's not. We're going to fix that. We're going to make some good color on the Death Star because it is just about to blow up. Now, we're going to put in, it has that almost like a big radar thing. And right there. Okay, I'm going to take my painter finger and sort of squish it around a bit. Now, when you just barely put in some of this on the Death Star, you can see it a lot better. But what you really are going to be surprised to see is this. Now, what do you think that might be? Well, I'll tell you. It is the Death Star. It's been hit by this wonderful fighter jet that's come by, and it's blowing up. Look at this. Now, see, that's the big hole right there. So what we need to do is to make stuff just flying out. And we've got all sort. I wonder what all this is. It just must be just all sorts of things on the inside of the Death Star just flying out. I'm going to add some of this orange. Okay, kaboom. All right, and then right here, there's Darth Vader's shoulder. We're going to finish it right there. So he's finished all this. I wonder if he's thinking about this and knows that it's going to happen. That's all I could figure out. Just knows it's coming, and he's going to be defeated. Now, you can put all sorts of colors on the Death Star. Because this is your painting, and you can decide what you want on it. I'm not going to have room to put this ship, which is one of Darth Vader's, but it's way out there, and he's going to be too late to get there to help at all. Now, just me, this doesn't mean you have to do this. I am going to squish around the colors just a little bit. See how very carefully I'm doing that. I don't want to mess it up. Now we need to make the sort of action going on. And Darth Vader he has, all sorts of knowing that he's going to be the loser in this battle. Now, as you can see, I'm not making him have chicken pox. No, this is just sort of accents. Things flying off out of space. And I think his whole attitude is just, I'm just about done. Now, I'm going to take this orange and I'm going to sort of fill in just a tad down here. And I think our friend Darth is just about finished. I love it. I just love it. Whoop, I forgot. I had said we were going to make sure that the fighter jet, the good guys, get some really good jet engines going here. All right, I've got that. I've got this. I mean, I could play with this forever. And I know yours is wonderful, just wonderful. So what I want you to do is pick out the one color that you like the best, that you've used. I'm going to use this aqua. And over here in the corner, I'm going to sign my name, very small. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to name this paint. Always name your painting. I'm going to call it Darth Vader. And today's date, which is easy to remember. And then I want you to go and show this to your family and hang it up in a place of honor. Now, before I go, I want to remind you to please come join us in the Artist Clubhouse. We have such fun there. We're going to be doing a lot of different events for May the 4th be with you. John Williams, the great, great composer of so many of the Star Wars opening, soaring music. And my goodness, he has done so many other iconic music for Jaws and anything that you can think of that is an action film or movie. John Williams has composed the music for it. And we're having May marathons at the movies, and those include travel and the seashore, and we're going to have summer art camp. Oh, I can't wait for that. It's not just rolling up your sleeping bag this year. No, no, no. We are going to really have a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being with me and with Darth today, my friend Darth. He was kind enough to stop by. Now we've got to let him go because he has battles to fight. But I just want to remind you, always, always remember, you are an artist.